The line between a paranoid conspiracy theory and a terrifying historical reality is often thinner than we want to believe. For decades, rumors circulated about a secret government program designed to crack the human code and turn the mind into a programmable weapon. People spoke of brainwashing, chemical interrogation, and the creation of the perfect assassin. Most dismissed these stories as the stuff of spy novels or fever dreams. That changed in the 1970s when the world learned the name of a project that would forever stain the reputation of American intelligence. That name was MKUltra. The story begins in the early years of the Cold War, a time of absolute existential dread. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a battle for global supremacy, and the battlefield was moving from the physical world into the psychological one. During the Korean War, American prisoners of war were appearing on film and in public making strange statements, praising their captors and denouncing their own country. The CIA became convinced that the Soviets and the Chinese had developed a secret method of brainwashing. They believed there was a gap in their arsenal, and they were determined to close it by any means necessary. In April 1953, CIA Director Allen Dulles authorized the commencement of Project MKUltra. The program was placed under the direction of Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist with a fascination for the toxic. Gottlieb was given a wide mandate and a massive budget to explore every possible avenue of human behavioral control. The goal was simple but horrifying: to find a way to strip a human being of their free will and replace it with a new set of directives. They wanted to create a Manchurian Candidate, a person who could be programmed to perform any task, including assassination, and then forget they had ever done it. The scope of the project was staggering. It involved over 140 sub-projects conducted at more than 80 institutions, including universities, hospitals, and prisons. Many of these institutions were unaware that the funding for their research was coming from the CIA through various front organizations. The experiments ranged from the use of chemical substances like LSD to more extreme methods such as electroshock therapy, sensory deprivation, and hypnosis. The subjects of these experiments were often the most vulnerable members of society: prisoners, mental patients, and even unsuspecting members of the general public. Hi everyone, Mark here. If you are fascinated by the unexplained and the darker side of human history, subscribe and follow for more chilling mysteries and psychological madness. Join our community, link in the description. One of the most famous and controversial aspects of MKUltra was the systematic use of LSD. The CIA was obsessed with the drug, believing it could be the key to unlocking the mind. In an operation known as Midnight Climax, the agency set up safe houses in San Francisco and New York. They hired prostitutes to lure men to these locations, where the men were secretly dosed with LSD while CIA agents watched through one-way mirrors. The goal was to see how the drug affected social behavior and sexual discretion, all without the subjects ever knowing they were part of a government experiment. The human cost of these experiments was profound and often fatal. One of the most tragic cases was that of Frank Olson, a biological warfare scientist working for the Army. During a retreat in 1953, Sidney Gottlieb secretly spiked Olson's drink with LSD. Olson soon spiraled into a severe psychological crisis. Days later, he fell to his death from a hotel window in New York. While the government initially ruled it a suicide, later investigations suggested a much more sinister cover-up, leading his family to fight for decades to uncover the truth of what happened in that hotel room. The madness of MKUltra extended into the halls of academia as well. At McGill University, Dr. Ewan Cameron conducted experiments on psychiatric patients that he called psychic driving. He would place patients in drug-induced comas for weeks at a time, playing looped recordings of simple statements through headphones. He followed this with high-voltage electroshock therapy, effectively erasing the patient's memories and personalities in an attempt to rebuild them from scratch. The lives of his subjects were utterly destroyed, leaving them unable to recognize their own families or perform the simplest tasks of daily living. Despite the scale of the program, MKUltra remained a closely guarded secret for 20 years. It was only after the Watergate scandal and a growing distrust of the intelligence community that the truth began to leak out. In 1973, fearing an upcoming investigation, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all records related to MKUltra. This act of administrative arson ensured that we may never know the full extent of the horrors committed under the program's banner. However, a small cache of financial records survived the purge, providing enough evidence for the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission to expose the program to the world. The legacy of MKUltra continues to haunt the modern world. It serves as a grim reminder of what happens when power is exercised without oversight and when the pursuit of national security is used to justify the systematic violation of human rights. The program failed to produce the mind-controlled assassins the CIA dreamed of, but it succeeded in ruining countless lives and eroding the public's trust in their own government. To this day, the mention of MKUltra sparks debate and fuels countless theories about what the shadows of the intelligence world are hiding now.